Hello, everybody. This is AWS bi-weekly meeting. I am your host, moderator, Justin Santa Barbara. I work at Google. A reminder, this meeting is being recorded and will be put on the internet, and so therefore please be mindful of our code of conduct. I have pasted a link to our agenda in the notes, in the chat, but please, if you have things, add them on there. We have a couple of things on the agenda. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Peter. And I think first up, Nick is going to lead us through prioritizing issues for 118. Over to you, Nick.
Awesome. So right now I'm just looking at issues filtered by area provider AWS in the Kubernetes. We could also take a look at the cloud provider repository, but I don't know if we'll have enough time. I think we have plenty of issues here to look at. We probably won't even get through these. So if we can, I think the goal for this would just to be identify a handful of critical issues that we'd like to see somebody work on for the 118 release cycle. So if we can, if we can identify owners, that's fine, but we don't have to. We can just identify issues and then over the next week or so, try to identify owners for those issues. So with that, let's get started and look at some of these issues.
And the query you're using right now is, I'm just going to try to, would you mind pasting that into the notes? So, sorry, into the notes so that we can have a record of that for other people as well.
Absolutely.
Or I can probably try to recreate it and paste it in. Let's see.
I know I have it open somewhere.
Or if you put it in the chat, I will, if you have chat open, I can.
I will paste it in the provider AWS Slack channel because that's what I have open.
Okay, cool.
All right. So I actually think I should probably sort this another way. So let's take a look at, I kind of want to see most upvoted. So Justin, you might actually have some context on some of these that are older. Some of them go back to, this one is 2017. So allow specifying different backend protocol for each service port. This has been upvoted 66 times. And it looks like, let's see if we can actually. Not ELB specific. Okay, so this looks like based on that comment at the bottom, it's sort of, I don't know, maybe Justin, do you remember this issue from 2017?
I don't remember this issue. I don't know if anyone else does.
It sounds like it's gone beyond AWS Cloud Provider, so I will, just based on what I'm seeing here, I think we should not add this to our list of.
That seems reasonable. It also, yeah, it looks like it has pretty, it looks like they're proposing schema changes as well. So I would classify this, while it may be a limitation, I would classify this as a feature more than a bug we could, unless someone wanted to actually address it. It's not going to be a small thing. It would probably be kept, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's changing the way listeners are defined, or ports are defined, or something.
Yeah, which is a fairly significant change.
Yeah, quite large. Alrighty. Friendly ELB names. I've heard of this one come up quite a few times, actually.
Yes, it would be great. I think the sticking point we've always had has been what happens if a user changes the name, I think, and also like what happens in terms of collisions. So those are the things that have been problematic.
Potential for a kind of small AWS specific KEP here.
Yes, you do have to address those two challenges.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like, what I'm saying is that if somebody is picking this up, I'd like to see. So Andrew has identified that it's more than just AWS, but this would be something that if someone was interested in picking this up, you know, I think, yeah, writing a KEP for it would be a good starting point.
Yes, it definitely would be. I think we do have to address those two challenges. They're not specific to AWS. It would be useful, but not trivial. I think we do now add, excuse me, we do add tags, I think. So some of this could also be addressed if someone talked to the AWS Cloud Console team and suggested they put the tag more prominently in the display.
Say that again.
We now tag it with things like, I think, the namespace and the name of the service, and in EC2, for example, the name tag is displayed very prominently.
I see.
Not the case as last time I looked, it was not the case in ELB.
Right.
Because I believe this is primarily around, I don't know, I guess it's primarily around seeing it in the Cloud Console, but I don't.
Yeah.
I guess it also appears in the name, the DNS name, which is another little snafu here, in that some people might not want my secret project to appear in the name of their load balancer.
Yeah. But I think I would guess that the change would be, I would guess we would still allow for the randomly generated change. I don't, like to stay backwards compatible. So if you didn't want to pick a name, you could still randomly generate one. But the other thing is, what about other cloud consoles? Do they have similar?
GCE, for example, in general, across the board, objects have names.
Right.
The names are unique, and the names are what you see. And it's also the primary identifier for them. So it's limiting in some ways, and it's nicer in others, right? So we don't have this, but GCE also has the long hash that appears in the name of the load balancer. Yeah, it does, but at least it's consistent, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'd say this is kind of a somewhat interesting problem and nice to have, but certainly not anything broken with the AWS Cloud Provider. So I wouldn't say it's a top of our priority list.
I agree. It's not what I would call it's another feature, right? I think perhaps we should, if we tag this with feature, like it's not a bug, or it's not a bug in the existing behavior. It is a limitation. So it's great if someone wants to tackle it, but it's, as I understood what you were talking about, I don't know whether you're more focused on things that are causing customer pain or things that are actually broken.
Definitely. Well, I guess both, but starting with things that are broken that we would consider bugs. Yeah.
I guess I can label this as feature, right? Yes, this would be a feature. that make sense?
Yeah. Are you labeling it or?
Yeah, I think I just labeled it. I think I did. Yes, I did.
Okay.
I like sorting by upvotes. I hadn't. Of course, it now means everyone's gonna now. Well, that's good, I guess. This is good that we have a. So the thumbs up emoji is considered an upvote. Is that right?
In my experience, yes.
Okay.
But I don't know that that's shared by everyone.
It's a reasonable proxy, I guess, for other things.
Yeah. Support UDP. Okay, this another feature. I'm just gonna skip it for now.
This one is a feature. It is easier. So if someone does want to take this on, then that would be reasonable. But
yeah, we can just take a quick look and see if it's got traction.
I think made a PR for that one actually, but then they abandoned it, or at least they stopped responding.
Yeah, there was a PR. I don't think it was quite there. It had like some edge cases, so that was sort of the issue. But yeah, we should look and see where the latest PR is.
So it looks like there was at least this, and that's so 8394, and somebody offered to take it.
It was that second comment that I think was the slightly problematic one. Like today we use in our internal reconciler, we use the port as the primary key, is my recollection. And now we would have to use port plus proto, or port times proto, as the primary key, which I mean, it's not crazy, but it's certainly a slightly bigger change than this would be, and it would probably have to touch more of the code. It should be should still be limited to the AWS Cloud Provider, but we just have to sort of follow that through. Because now it's perfectly reasonable to listen, for example, on port 53 on both TCP and UDP. I assume NLP allows 53, but yeah, anyway, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's perfectly reasonable to listen on the same port on both UDP and TCP.
Yeah. I see. Okay, and okay, a lot of people definitely want this, but it appears that the original author has not updated it since. Okay, so what do you think is if somebody wanted to take this on, Justin, what do you think the best course of action would be?
I don't even think I don't even think it needs a cap, in that it is certainly missing functionality. It looks like MWA. Sorry, I'm just sort of looking at your screen. I just looked at that person commented at the end, MWAAS, MWAS, I guess MWAS. So maybe we can like work with them to make it work. It's basically just a PR that does that, I guess.
Yeah. So either building off of that PR or starting a new PR.
Right. Yeah. That PR was nice in that it had tests. I think it just I believe the problem is that like we have to change the key, and it's a slightly more involved change therefore.
Got it. Create node labels from EC2 tags. This is another issue. 2018. I mean, another feature.
This is a little tricky, I think. So I think this is a good thing. I think some people may not want this. There are potential. Sorry, am I talking over someone? No.
Sorry, go ahead.
Some people might not want this. There are security implications on how we map these two, how we map them in. But I also think the interesting thing is this really does not need to be, this can be an external controller, as far as I understand it.
Yeah, so you're saying the question is, do we build it into the Cloud Controller Manager or not?
I don't see any reason to build it into the, we might want to choose to link it into the Cloud Controller Manager in future, but I don't see any reason to build it into the Cloud Controller Manager.
That makes sense. And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's already built some version of this.
Yes, that would be good evidence that it would be, you know, important. This next one is interesting.
Looks like possibly our first bug. So an install issue on AL2. 21. Let's see when the most recent comments are. 8 days ago.
This looks more like a packaging issue with Yum, I guess. Like,
yeah.
Everyone's talking about GPG, and I know.
And it's just, so I guess it's could potentially be an issue with the Yum package for kubelet, kubeidium, kubectl.
Yes. Sig release is on this, which is good.
Interesting. So they would be the ones who are creating these packages.
I believe so. If not, they could certainly better than we know where. Yeah, I think they are. I think they're responsible for this.
Got it. Okay.
But yeah, that is unfortunate. I don't know if does, for example, EKS recommend using these packages or?
So we provide, for example, our node AMIs, package in any binaries that are required, like kubectl, and then
kubelet is the big one, I presume.
We build and provide our own containers. So no, we don't actually require these packages, but it would still be good to get them fixed.
Agreed. Just trying to like determine the sort of impact.
Yeah, let me see.
I guess anyone bringing their own node, not using your image, but using the Amazon System Linux 2 Bayer image, as it were, would encounter this issue, or CentOS, I guess, or Red Hat.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, this is old.
It's old, but there was a recent comment on it saying that they face the same issue.
Wow. Okay. So it might have been broken forever?
Yeah, it's possible. I will just, any bugs that we aren't sure about or think might be worth looking into, I'll just paste in the meeting notes and we can follow on.
That really is, it looks like that's more of a SIG release issue, but yeah, certainly we should.
Yeah, definitely. We can at least poke them.
Yes.
This one is labeled as a bug.
Might be a docs bug.
Trying to start kubelet with hostname override. So the node name doesn't match. So it looks like maybe the node authorizer isn't allowing. Oh, so hostname override, I would think, I guess.
Hostname override is like a way to specify node name. There's always been a
Yeah.
lot of confusion about hostname and node name. We don't currently allow, I think this is related to the issue which I'm surprised hasn't been more upvoted around, like allowing arbitrary node names, but we don't currently allow them. And so I think for that reason, if you turn on Cloud Provider AWS, I guess we override the override of the host name. Like we just ignore the for, like we say like, there's no point you're trying to set this because you're not, like if you've set it different, it's not going to work. Set it differently, it's not going to work.
Yeah, that's possible.
It would certainly be nice.
So you're saying we don't actually allow hostname override?
I think the underlying issue is if you set a different node name for a node on AWS and are using the AWS Cloud Provider, it will not work correctly. Right. It will not match the
because we validate the node name on the other side in the Cloud Provider, right?
And the reason we do that is because in some places we only get the node name on some of our calls, and so for example, when we attach a volume, we need to know what EC2 instance ID to attach. And so we have to map from node name to EC2 instance ID. And the way we do that today is we query the EC2 APIs for private DNS name.
Right.
What we could instead do is we could either take the node in as an input parameter, or we could take the node name and go look it up in the node APIs to get the node object, and then from there get the provider ID, which is also filled in and has the ID in there.
Right. Yes. So this is essentially a feature request for arbitrary node names, which
I guess it's certainly heavily related to that, right?
Yeah. Which is not currently supported. Let's see.
Like I did a PR for this, like.
It is using EC2 instances private hostname and ignoring hostname override.
This is 2018. Ah, there we are. So Liggett asks, why do you want to do this?
Yeah. Okay. Allow, yeah, so this would be, I guess, the umbrella issue, allow host names other than.
Yes, and I think that's a good idea. I do think that's a good thing to aim for. It's not a trivial change. It's sort of, we could try to do it as part of the cloud provider refactorings, I guess.
Yes. Once we're, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've had the higher priority or the higher priority reorganization of the code rather than doing that. But on the flip side, now that I think everyone is now using the approach where we only have one copy of the code, so we could at the same time refactor it.
Yes.
I guess it's just a matter of humans. This next one might be good because I think we've implemented that. Or someone did. Let's see.
Okay.
So just trying to find the code which creates volumes on creates EBS volumes. Create volume.
So Chang says.
I think we've done this.
Address different issues potentially.
Oh, wait. The code is here. Here.
Sorry, what is here?
The name of the file, if you do the T, autocomplete on
Sure.
file names, is aws_util.go. Or I can put it. Do you want me to chat it to you on Slack?
For some reason, my T keyword isn't working.
Okay. Let's see. How about this? I can probably share my screen if that's useful. Let me try this. Oh yeah, you got it. So create volume in there. There are definitely some tags going on.
Create volume. There's a name tag.
Yeah, so we are creating tags. The question is, are we creating the other tags? Okay, well, you can assign this one to me and we can see whether it's, I'll see if I can close it or not. Or I will look at this, I guess. It's already assigned to me. Okay.
Okay, that is assigned to you. Cool. Can we put a milestone of 118 on it?
Yeah, I guess so. I'll at least look at whether it's been done already, which would be a good start.
Yeah. All right. I'll let you. Excuse me. I'll let you take care of that. Let's actually.
Oh, I've realized. Yeah, we also there's one other agenda item. Shall we let Peter have a minute to do his, and then we can come back to this?
Sure.
Okay, you put that one in.
This is brief.
Cool.
Go ahead.
Do we want to share a screen somewhat?
Yep, I'm stopping sharing.
I don't know if Justin, you want to.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Just share the PR.
It is 85929. I am clicking on it and share. Are you not allowed to share, by the way, or not?
I think I can. I'm just not in a
fair enough
good place to do that.
I just didn't. Let's see. That's weird. Automated cherry pick of. Why does it? What is the sort order here? 83, 85. I don't even have as many windows as I normally have open.
I can share if you want.
Let me try this again. Let me try this. So maybe if I put it on this side, I think it could be multiple monitors. All right, let's try this again. Sorry about this. One more try, share. Got it.
Cool. This is a cherry pick of a commit Justin made. It landed in 117, and I was seeing if we could backport it to 116. It's a fix in an end-to-end test. I wasn't sure what the cherry pick policy is, and someone was deferring to Justin to see if it's suitable for a cherry pick. So
Okay, that's unusual.
maybe there's something you can do there.
Voting for myself. Okay. I will see. Oh yeah. So Lubomir said that. Whoa. Okay. I'm not sure it's critical urgent on the backpick. Okay. Well, yeah. I guess I'll remove, or it looks like it actually just has a hold.
Yes.
Which is slightly odd. Okay. I can take a look at this and see if I can find out what's going on. And okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that up. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen because this is just taking over everything and I can't tell what's going on anymore. How do I stop this? It's over on the other side. All right. Phew, back to normal. All right. Nick, back to you, I guess. Thanks for that, Peter.
Where? Okay. It does seem like there's a few that are labeled bugs here. Okay, so here's, let's see, where were we?
Yeah.
So,
Proxy, I think, was the next one.
Yeah, proxy was the next one. So, proxy protocol support for NLP.
We do have proxy protocol support. I hate hearing my own voice. There's an echo. I believe we have proxy protocol support for ELB, correct? ELB Classic.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, we use it.
Very useful with nodes registered by IP address. I see. So,
oh, there's a P. Oh no, he's mentioned it. Sorry. Why would it be registered by IP address?
for NLB,
Yeah.
I think you get the option to.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, if which one is the default if it's Kubernetes managed?
Yeah.
Maybe we should ask Micah.
Yeah.
Whether he has context on this.
It's actually quite. Okay. So did you add that one?
I will do it. I'm just navigating tabs.
So this next one is similar. Pod IP target support for NLB. And let's just see. This has to be implemented in a cloud-specific way. You can no-op the standard controller and write your own as long as you handle the various features like port remapping and so forth. Okay, so this is another feature yet to be implemented.
This could be another one which could be done externally as well. Like could better be done externally. I don't know.
Okay.
Like, should the AWS VPC CNI provider do this one? Is what I'm wondering.
I don't think so because it doesn't do anything with load balancers as of now. I think maybe a separate controller would be better, but okay. This one I am familiar, or at least I remember. So source ranges, okay. Actually, I think there's two issues that are sort of similar to this. So this one is not updating security group for load balancer source ranges. And then there's one where we were, in some case, removing rules from the security group, I believe. Just what I was thinking of, but let's see. So inbound rules. NLB doesn't update security groups. Workaround. Okay, I think this one needs someone to look at.
That one feels like a lookup.
Yeah. Not updating group.
I'd be down to take a look at that one. Wouldn't be too crazy to do that.
Yeah, if anybody wants to take a look at it, go ahead and comment on the issue that you're looking at it and go from there. Okay, this is another one of the node name issues. I commented on it at some point. All right, so we know that. Okay. Is this security groups that are created by Kubernetes are not being cleaned up? Oh, or maybe. Okay.
These aren't ones that are created by Kubernetes, are they?
To me, it sounds like they're just specified by the user, but in that case, I would think we wouldn't want to clean them up.
Maybe they mean rules. Maybe like we're leaving rules around or something.
It pretty explicitly says security groups.
It's true.
Arguably needs someone to look into though, to see if this is actually an issue. So say dangling security groups, question mark. AWS load balancer only creates in one availability zone. Cross-zone load balancing enabled.
This is true. This is, so there is logic today. There is logic that won't set up, won't pick subnets, and therefore we try to set it up in all the zones, or attach things in all the zones, but we look at the subnets where we are running, which are relevant to the cluster based on the tag and other heuristics. And then if we exclude private subnets, because private subnets don't work with a public load balancer. And so that's why in this case, subnet 1, the one that has access is the one that's attached. It sounds like somehow the other two subnets are also using NAT to subnet 3. I don't know what that, I don't understand that. That sounds like a cool AWS trick, which I am not aware of. And so this makes sense in that this is, yeah, so like we're deliberately excluding 1 and 2 because we don't think they can be attached to a public ELB.
So is our definition of public that they have a IGW?
I believe it's that or an NGW, but yes, it's something like that.
Got it. And then, but they've set this up so that they consider those public or those subnets public, but we don't, or AWS Cloud Provider doesn't, I guess.
We could, so things we could do are either like update our definition of what is public, like get smarter, and then, or we could have some method of allowing an override of our heuristics.
Right, some override, yeah. Seems useful, certainly for some networking setups.
Yeah, I guess I
not necessarily a bug, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, I don't understand why would people set it up in this way? Sounds cool, but I don't know why. Like,
I think one thing that I've learned is people have very interesting and diverse networking setups, and sometimes they have very, very good reasons, and sometimes that's just how they were set up.
That's fair. Yes, I will bow to your AWS knowledge here as to whether this is an important scenario to support or not, I guess.
Yeah, and I will say that I have no idea how common this is. There's 4 upvotes on this, so it seems that it's not.
I can take an action item to comment on this and ask them why they're doing this.
Sure. Yeah, that would be fine. And I'll just bring this back to my team and just see if one of our more networking knowledgeable folks has any thoughts on it. If you want to just make a note there. But I would argue this is a feature. We can probably untriage this. What do you think?
It certainly sounds like a feature, yes, in that it sounds like it's behaving as intended, even if that's not quite what the user intended.
Yeah. All right. If you
want to label it, yeah, I can label it as a feature.
Yeah. Support IPv6 CIDR block when creating load balancer security group. We actually do, we have someone looking into, in general, IPv6 support. So I think I'll just direct this to them.
That's great. Yeah, it'd be good to get. I didn't see at reInvent, is it still only one IPv6 address per ENI, I guess, or per instance? Or no comment. If you're not sure. You don't want to chat. You don't want to answer. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter.
I'll just say, as far as I know, like I didn't hear about any IPv6 announcements. So
fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, this
That's not ours.
is not definitely not ours. It's across all cloud providers.
We contribute to it, but that's not us. Like, no.
Yeah, reduce size of binaries. I mean, it's a noble goal. Still unable to manage all security groups outside Kate's after PR something. This appears to be related potentially to that previous issue. Maybe. So you have a security group managed outside of Kubernetes. You add it into one of those
Security groups, right?
security group label things.
And we ignore it or something.
Sure, load balancer switches from the range back to individual parts. Okay, so
if there's a load balancer source range,
say that again.
Maybe it's if there's a load balancer source range. I don't know. This sounds a little bit like a bug, and it doesn't sound like it's going to be too bad, but oh, there's a PR.
Which was merged.
No, sorry. There's another PR at the top. Something I've never seen in GitHub is if you scroll to the very top of this page.
Oh.
Be fixed by. I don't know how they did that.
That's interesting. It's a new feature.
Maybe we should have a look at the PR.
Yeah.
I'll update the doc there.
Okay. Gosh. Okay, so this is, I guess the limitation is that you can't map, there's no way in Kubernetes to configure 443 and then remapping that to 80 at the ELB using the service definition.
Yes, this one went round and round a lot. I commented sort of towards the end.
Right, I remember this one. Yeah, I remember this because you did a review at some point and then found some issues with it, but it was so long after the initial
right
PR was. So you said. Okay, so you brought up some complexities. Start with a clean implementation. And that could be a potential. Sounds like this just needs an owner, maybe.
This might also be one of the things that we can fix in like the ingress v2 efforts, which have like been ongoing for almost as long as this issue. I guess I don't know whether this is someone exposing a service directly, or whether they're exposing, for example, Nginx, a load balancer inside their cluster. From the sounds of things, it sounds like they're exposing a service directly, in which case, perhaps this is the sort of thing that could be covered by ingress v2, which is in keeping with what Martin said, where, you know, piling on more and more annotations does get like more and more confusing, and perhaps we just need a new schema.
Yeah. I would, knowing very little about this issue, I would be inclined to say that it sounds like, I mean, it sounds like a thing that somebody might want, which is to, you know, you can configure a load balancer in AWS to listen on 443 and then forward to port 80, right? And that's what he's asking for, right?
Yes, and I believe to not expose port 80.
Not expose 80 on the load balancer.
I think so. I wasn't.
So internal ports are all mapped to 443. Internal services cannot communicate via port 80.
But I think that might be the bug. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that is the bug. So would like to have internal on 80. External 443, internal on 80. To me, that seems like a reasonable request. I don't know.
It does sound reasonable. It's sort of the nice thing about ingress. So the bad thing about ingress has traditionally been layer 7, so it's different. The nice thing about ingress is that it is a different object. It's a different interpretation. So like we'd say the internal service we're declaring that the service we're declaring is internal. And then in addition, we expose that service externally, and there's some fancy stuff that happens. In this case, we expose it over 443. We do CSL decryption in ELB or ELB. And
but is there a way to say don't use any layer 7 features, and this ingress is really just?
I don't know. I don't know.
So I guess, okay, so if ingress works as a future for this, that could be an option. Another option would just be to sort of have somebody take a stab at new annotations that better map to what people want to do, or maybe give a little bit more power to the person defining the service, and allow them to do things like this, where you have a different listener on the load balancer versus the service, or the what the internal service is listening on. Anyway,
yeah, we are at time.
Yep.
I think this has been a useful exercise, and I presume maybe we should do it again in 2 weeks, and like do any other business first. Well, do it again next time. Any other business first, and then continue with this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You can also tell people we are sorting on upvotes and see how the ranking changes when we tell them the signal we're looking at.
Yeah, we might also want to look at like other, you try other sorts, like oldest, or yeah. All right.
Thank you for driving that. Now, do we have a meeting in 2 weeks? I guess is the final question, which we will evaluate. Today is the 13th of Friday the 13th. That makes the 27th, which is.
I think we should go ahead and cancel that.
I think the attendance would be super sparse. I don't think I would go in.
I don't know. I would not attend. So.
All right, great. So we'll see everyone in 4 weeks, which will be sometime in January, which is harder to add. Maybe the 10th. Who knows? Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. But have a wonderful break, everybody.
You too.
Bye.